Hello, viewers, and welcome to the finale of the System Washington, D.C. This season was filled to the brim with big moves, big personalities, and big twists. The season started with two twists back to back. The contestants would be split into two parties.
Yesterday, two contestants were given the opportunity to choose which half of the contestants would join the popularity party and which half would join the prison party. Now, before you all start pointing fingers, it is not a single person currently in the main chat.
And two contestants from seasons past returned to play the game once again.
And so, Max, since your overall popularity was your downfall in Season 1, and your popularity with the rest of Season 1's cast greatly affected their choices for the rest of the game, you will be the leader of the popularity party. Alex, since you did not spend enough prisms to save yourself in Season 2, and then transferred all of them to another player prior to your elimination, thus generating a prism monopoly, you will be the leader of the prism party.
The game started from the get-go with the formation of two opposite but equal alliances. The Founding Fathers, Alex and Max.
Because I put a lot of my eggs in that basket, and if they obviously don't give a about me, then let's make a move.
They only care about their trio, so I figured, and if this bites me in the ass, I will try to work around it, but I hope it won't.
And C-SPAN, who contained Bill and Eric.
We are live! This is another edition of C-SPAN in the System. I'm Eric.
And I'm Bill. Welcome to round 2, right after the vote.
Oh my gosh.
C-SPAN seized the moment and took out an ally of the Founding Fathers and Ivy.
I don't want to go in guns a-blazing so that people will just be like, yeah, threat! Get her now.
Ivy, you are eliminated and have been removed from the system.
But were swiftly retaliated against when Dom blew up Bill's influence over the game.
Which is cool, but man, those boys are playing hard.
It's time for war, right? It is time for war. So Eric, C-SPAN, Cabinet, go out there. Let's fight. I am a prisoner of war here, and you are going to be my SEAL team saviors.
Bill, you are eliminated and have been removed from the system.
The first live night resulted in system history, with Cody, another ally of the Founding Fathers, leaving in the first breakdown of the system.
The vote is 3-3-3.
Yo!
First time ever. We are going to the wheel. The person, for the first time, eliminated by the wheel, and the third person eliminated from the System Washington is Cody.
Damn.
The Founding Fathers, now firmly aligned with Riley, Don, and Kamani, then continued to eliminate their threats.
Kayla? Brian? Dylan? That means, Eric, I'm sorry, you have been eliminated and removed from the system.
While only losing one ally along the way.
Kamani, I'm sorry, you have been eliminated and removed from the system.
And then, last episode, Regan took control over the game following her two closest allies entering the chamber, Blake and Alex.
But I might force it to go to wheel because I really want Blake and Alex to stay, and yeah, it's only a 1/3 chance I go from the wheel, so it's an interesting temptation.
By random selection, the person going home between Riley, Regan, and Max is Riley. I'm sorry, you have been eliminated and removed from the system.
And now, we have 5. The stage has been set, every prism and point have been calculated, and the jury is almost ready. Who will win the System Washington, D.C.?
So, for this mission is called Spin Doctor. Basically, I will be spinning a wheel, and it will land on a number between 1 and 30. The corresponding number that I land on, for example, if I land on number 5, will pertain to question number 5 in a series of 30 questions that I have.
All of these questions range in difficulty, but the point value is the same. So, for example, if you get a question correct, no matter what it is, it's worth 2 points. But if you get a question wrong, no matter what it is, you lose a point. Once you have completed 6 questions, you will be stopped and the mission will be over for you.
Oh, yay. I'm not excited.
All right. So, and all questions pertain to events and facts that happened within this season of the system.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Also, as another thing, once a number is landed on the wheel, no other contestant will have the same question as you. So, the 6 questions that you get, another contestant will not get those questions. The first question is question 20. So, question 20, I gotta find it. Okay, Kamani was in the chamber how many times before he was eliminated, including the round he was eliminated? A, 3 times, B, 2 times, C, 5 times, or D, 4 times?
Well, it wasn't 5. It's 3.
Your answer is A, 3?
Yeah.
All right, you're locked in. You did not get that question correct.
What?
The answer to that question was D, 4. Kamani was in the chamber for 4 times, including the round he was eliminated. That is minus 1 point for you.
Thanks.
Moving on to the next question. Next question is number 30. Brian was eliminated in the following vote count. A, 3-3-1. B, 4-3-0. C, 5-2-0. D, 5-1-1. Or E, none of these.
A, 4-3-1.
Your guess was A, so that was 3-3-1.
Yeah,
locking that in. That was correct. Brian was eliminated in a vote count of 3-3-1. Moving on to the next question. Prism ratio is better when it is higher. A, true, or B, false?
False.
That is correct. B, false. Prism ratio is better when it is lower. The title of the round 6 mission was A, mud raking, B, muck raking, C, touchy subjects, or D, tough mudder raking.
Was mud raking or muck raking the first one?
A is mud raking.
I'm gonna choose that, I guess. I think
Okay, you're locking in with A, mud raking. That is incorrect. The title of the round 6 mission was muck raking, B. Moving on. Okay, so question number 5. Who in the final 5 did not compete as a party representative? A, Regan, B, Alex, C, Max, D, Don, or E, Blake?
Why is this a question? A, Regan.
That is correct. You did not compete as a party representative. Alex was put into the chamber for the first time in round 5. A, true, or B, false?
What round is this?
It is currently round 7.
Okay, he was in it with Blake once. And then I was in it with... I want to say I was in the chamber round 5. No, did I vote round 5? Like, yikes. That's a...
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Alex was put into the chamber for the first time in round 5. A, true, or B, false?
B, false.
That is correct. Alex was put into the chamber last round in round 6. So with that, you gained another 2 points. Your final total is 7 points. So we'll see if that's enough to give you first place. And with that, you're done. All right. Who was saved from the most eliminations due to a mission? A, Blake, B, Dylan, C, Don, D, Eric, or E, none of these?
Eric.
Okay, locking that in. That answer is correct. Eric was saved for 3 eliminations due to the first 2 missions. So you get 2 points from that. So this question is, what was the first hint given to the players for the round 2 mission? An American road sign for A. B. A map of the various locations of McDonald's. C. A map of the United States. Or D. 6 red Solo cups.
Well, it technically was a map of America, but it was like a map of America with the, like, highways. I'm just gonna go with America map.
All right, so you're locking in C of a map of the United States. That is correct. A was actually a trick answer because it was just a singular American road sign. So, good on you for catching that. Okay, so you get another 2 points. How many players were in the popularity party before the swap? A4, B5, C6, D7.
Okay, hold on. We started 7-7. So then we were... Yeah. 6.
Okay, we'll lock that in. That answer is correct. There were 6 members of the popularity party before the swap. All of those members were everyone except for Kayla because Kayla was eliminated prior to the swap. Okay. One clue to find the pardon in round 2 was a highlighted word. A, true, or B, false?
True.
That is correct. Okay, the first person eliminated from the System Washington was A, Don, or B, Ivy?
Ivy.
All right. Easiest question in the entire thing.
I'm crying.
Who won the least amount of prisms from missions this season prior to the jury? A, Blake, or B, Alex?
That would be me.
All right, locking that in. That is correct. The answer is, in fact, yourself. You won 0 prisms for 4 different rounds. All right.
I'm still here. I'm so amazing. Wow.
So congratulations, Alex. You walked away with a perfect score of 12. Maybe it was actual memory. Maybe it was a little luck. But regardless, good job.
The highlight one was memory.
So with that, good luck with the rest of the round. And I'll be moving on to Don. When there is a 3-way tie in the chamber, and a voter is eliminated instead, it is called A, an overload, B, rocks, C, a tiebreaker, or D, a breakdown.
Breakdown? I don't know. You never said.
I did say it. I said it once, actually.
Whatever. I said breakdown. You heard me.
You're going with breakdown? Okay, locking that in. That is correct. The second person eliminated from the System Washington was A, Ivy, B, Bill, C, Cody, D, Kayla.
Can we get a bill? And I had a whole hand in that.
All right, that is correct.
I love you, Bill. I love you. I promise you I did it because I love you and I didn't want you to be pissed off at me in jury.
All right.
Don't edit that out, bitch. That was good stuff. All right.
Question number 3. Max was awarded the pardon because A, he avoided the chamber the most times.
Liar.
B, he had the highest overall popularity. C,
Liar.
he had the lowest prism ratio, or D, just cuz.
Can I get a C?
C is correct. This was announced publicly when he used the pardon. Kayla was eliminated in the following vote count. A, 4-3-1. B, 3-2-3. C, 5-3-0. D, 5-4-0. Or E, none of these.
Oh no. I'm going with none of these, but I think I'm wrong.
You are incorrect. The correct answer was A, 4-3-1.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
How many jury members will there be by the end of the game? A, 5, B, 6, C, 7, or D, 9?
Can I get a 7?
That is correct.
Okay, listen, I need you to do me a favor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Edit the parts out where I'm smoking weed.
We can put a blur over it.
Oh, thanks, fucking Nate. That's helpful. Okay, let's go.
Last question.
I cannot believe I missed that fucking last question. I'm like, fucking, hold on, give me a second. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Number 13. All right. How many women made the jury stage of this game? A1, B2, or C3?
Man, there's only one. Well, I mean, wait a minute. What if they're still in the game?
Is it not this jury stage?
That's a good point. Okay, 1.
That is correct.
Hey,
And
Nate.
the final
Nate.
score is 9. Yes.
I cannot believe I missed the question. I'm so upset right now.
How many votes have been nullified this season? A0, B1, or C2?
I'm gonna say 1.
That is correct. You are the only person to have their vote nullified this season. Regan was in the chamber 8 times. A true or B false?
False.
That is correct. Bill was eliminated in a vote count of A, 4-4 to 0, B, 3-5 to 1, C, 4-4 to 1, D, 2-2 to 5, or E, none of these.
E, none of these.
Correct.
It was 4-4 to 2.
That is correct. The second live night was cut short by A fight between the players, B, everyone leaving the call, C, Nate's laptop having technical difficulties again.
A fight between the players.
That is correct. One clue for a mission this season was from the movie National Treasure. A, true, or B, false?
Oh, that definitely has to be a hard one. I'm gonna say true.
That is correct. What clue was given to hint at the mission that Dylan won? A, an ace of spades, B, a queen of hearts, C, a 10 of clubs, or D, none of the above?
Okay. Dylan won blackjack, but all of those clues would work for blackjack. I didn't really write down any of the clues. I'm just gonna say an ace of spades.
That is incorrect. The answer was none of the above. The clue was a literal blackjack.
I was so close to the perfect score.
All right, so your final score is 9 points.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Only one question correct. You can't be mad at that. So with that, good luck, and I will try to get to Blake shortly. First question is, during the second live night, Kamani was eliminated first, then Dylan, then Eric. A, true, or B, false?
False.
That is correct. The correct order was Dylan, then Kamani, then Eric. The next question. Cody received how many votes to be saved throughout the entire time he was in the game? A, 5, or B, 6?
My ass. I'm gonna go with 5.
That is correct. Cody was only in the chamber once before he was eliminated by the wheel, and during that chamber, he received 5 votes to be saved. Eric was in the chamber how many times before he was eliminated, and this number includes the round he was eliminated? A2, B3, C4, D5.
I think it's 2.
That is incorrect. Eric was in the chamber 3 times before he was eventually eliminated. Next question. The only person to be in the chamber both times a breakdown has occurred was A, Blake, B, Regan, C, Kamani, or D, Don.
By breakdown, you mean like it tied 3 ways?
Yes.
Don.
That is correct. What document did Alex and Kamani use to solve a cipher? A, WikiLeaks FBI leaks. B, the U.S. Constitution. C, the Declaration of Independence. D, the Emancipation Proclamation. Or E, the U.S. Bill of Rights.
I think it was the Constitution.
Okay, that answer is incorrect.
Yeah.
The correct answer was the Declaration of Independence. So with that, your final score was 6 points.
So we are really close to the end, and I'm just starting to think, what do I need to do to win this game? I feel like I'm around a bunch of people that want to keep me around for different reasons. Regan because she thinks Dawn and Max are going to win. Blake because he doesn't want to lose to any of the others and he'd rather lose to me. Dawn because I have a final two, and I feel like Max literally because the Founding Fathers and the fact that he's convinced he will beat me. And this is where it gets interesting, because I am also convinced that Max is going to beat me at this point.
I'm just like stressed about Blake, because even though he's throwing my name around saying he thinks that I was the one who stole from everyone, I wasn't, just letting you know. Like, he's got to understand, like, everyone still thinks it was him.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was him. Like, there was no reaction from him or Regan, which means... I mean, unless Riley did it behind everyone's back.
Yeah. But I just think there's a high chance it was probably Blake. And that's why I want to get him out soon.
I feel like it was one of those two, and I'll tell you why. Because Regan took at least 9 from me. She admits that. Somebody took almost all the rest of mine, and I know it wasn't you two. You see what I'm saying? I know it wasn't you two.
Alex tells me it wasn't Regan or Blake that stole my prisms. It was him. The kid stole my prisms. And I love him for it. I love him so much right now.
So it had to be one of those three. And Regan only took 9. So one of those other two, either Riley or Blake, took 9 of my prisoners. So, cut and dry.
I mean, it probably was Blake. Because Regan said that she took 9 from you, and if you had other 9, then it was someone else. Because I feel like Regan will probably own up to it, because she's stupid. Well, no, she's not. She's not stupid. Excuse me. She's not stupid, but like she's the kind of person to just be like,
make that rash gameplay, and just be like, "Oh, I did this." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. This is, if anything, going to be this one last creditable move, where I need to make sure that Max gets voted out of this game, because at that point I feel like everyone's just gonna let me get the popularity for the final chamber. Plain and simple. Like, Dawn's gonna let me have it, and if it's Dawn voting, he's gonna vote one of the other two out. Blake's gonna let me have it, and Regan's probably gonna let me have it, because she thinks I'm not gonna vote her out. Which I think I'm going to, if it's Blake or Dawn, honestly. Because Regan has connections on this jury, and I think this jury vote is more important than people give it credit for, so... I'm gonna have a lot of thinking to do.
Hello, contestants, and welcome to your Round 7 chamber results. The first person in the chamber this round is... Don. The second person in the chamber this round is... Regan. The third and final member of the chamber this round is... Max. Once again, the 3 people in the chamber this round are Max, Regan, and Dawn. These have been your popularity results. Good luck, contestants.
You know, last time that I tried to do a confessional in my car, I immediately got conned out of $75. So, we'll see how this one goes. So I did not go into the chamber. It ended up being me and Alex that were safe, which is great, because my ideal world would be that I'm safe and that Max goes in. And that's what happened. So I'm safe and Max is in the chamber. Me and Alex are safe, and my only real thing here is that I just need Alex to understand that even from, like, I don't know, on no level should Alex keep Max here.
Luck hasn't got on my side. I tried to make a move, put myself in a good spot with the numbers, and the numbers weren't in my favour. And I'm here in the chamber up against Don and Regan. And Blake is trying to engineer my boot, and he's playing mind games with Alex. And even though Alex says to me he wants to save me, which I don't know if I 100% trust, but I have to pretend because he's my only shot, I'm in a spot where Blake is trying to play mind games, and Alex can't 100% protect me. He has to guess where Blake's going, he has to see if Blake zigs or zags, and it's like, it makes me super nervous. I came in this game flopping my first days, and I feel like I've done a good job. I feel like if I reach the end, I will win, and I'm really terrified because what happens if I don't? What happens if I don't reach the end? And I'm freaking out because I could and should win this game.
I mean, I'm gonna put my vote in now. I just wanted to make sure that I got this in before I did that.
Yeah, of course. Like, we don't want strikes.
The way I see it, if you vote Max or if you overload Regan, I don't necessarily think that's the best move for you, but what can I do at this point? You know, I'm only one person. There's nothing I can do.
I mean, Regan's one person, and she single-handedly got Riley out.
Now, I was really hoping it was Max, because I've been telling you since before the last live night that Max needs to go. And I still stand by it. And the way, like, I really don't see any bad outcome of this next round for you if Max goes home. I think if Max wins, or if Max stays out of the chamber next, if it's you, me, Max, and somebody else, if Max stays out of the chamber next round, I think he's voting you out, because I think Max knows he can beat me, Regan, and Dawn, but he doesn't know he can beat you. I know this is beating a dead horse since you already voted, but yeah.
No, it's like, I see the thought process behind it.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm gonna find out in 15 minutes what you actually, like, if you actually did it, and if you didn't, then we'll see what happens, but...
Did you just vote?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I just owe Regan, and if it means you're lying to me, then so be it, but... Can you tell me now what you did? Don't leave me in suspense.
Yeah, actually, I vote Regan too.
That's so funny, honestly. Like, I'm not even kidding. That's really funny.
Like, if you actually voted Regan, like, I will explain everything. That's,
No,
like,
I
my
swear
thought.
to God I did. What's the point of lying? My locked
Okay,
in.
my thought process behind the entire situation is, yes, Max is standing in the way, but here's, like, the thing. If I go to the final four, and it's like, okay, if was wrong, and it's like you getting the choice between like Dawn, Regan, and me.
Oh, I would have cut you, sure.
Exactly, and I know that.
To be honest, the Dawn thing was true. I did make a final three with Dawn and Regan.
And that's why I was like, I need to keep Max for this next round, because if he's here, then he's gonna go.
So, as a reminder, the three people in the chamber this round are Dawn, Max, and Regan. And I can tell you right now, the vote is an overload. So, Blake and Alex voted for the same person, resulting in a tie for the least amount of votes. Basically a 2-0 vote. That means the person eliminated tonight is Regan.
Max, you're like a cockroach that won't die.
Did Regan just like...
Regan, I'm sorry, you have been eliminated from the game. The vote
Alex,
was
you're not getting my vote to win, Alex. You can go screw yourself, Alex.
Alright.
You are not getting my vote to win. Alright, Blake, good luck.
Okay. Sorry.
Hi, Regan. Love you. Oh, she's fun.
Alright.
To be fair, Alex, you're a real for that.
I'm sorry, you were gonna give me 4. And
Well, hey, now that we're all here and we can put this out on the table, I do just want everyone to know that Alex told me he was the one to steal all the prisms and that he framed me for it because he's a bitch.
You gotta give him credit. That's a brilliant play, though.
I know. I was in Alex's PMs like, somebody's framing me for stealing the prisms, and he was like, oh, really? That's crazy. And I was like, yeah, somebody, I didn't get any stolen from me. Alex, Jesus.
Right.
That I had to throw you under the bus. It's an eye for an eye, my bitch.
I think, though, we can
now move on to the final four, which congratulations. You guys are one step away from the final chamber and 2 steps away from the finale. So, I'm sure you're wondering how exactly the second elimination of the night will go down. Well, there's no mission. There's no automatically being put into the chamber. Instead, tonight, you will just be spending your prisms. The 50 prisms you were given were a bit of a gift and also meant to be used by you tonight. You will have 10 minutes to discuss, starting now, what you would like to do with your prisms and who you would like to see in the chamber.
How much longer do we have?
Funny you say that because the shop is now closed.
Oh, bitch!
Anyway.
I now have the results for the chamber. The 3 people in the chamber tonight are, in no particular order, Don.
What?
Blake. And the last spot comes down between Alex and Max.
Good luck.
The last spot between Alex and Max is Alex. That means, Max, congratulations. You are in the final 3, and you will be getting the sole vote to eliminate tonight.
Wow.
You have the next 5 minutes to decide. It will end at 45.
Okay, I'll do this quick. Nate, I'm good to go.
All right, you can say what you want, and then just vote how you would like.
Luckily, I feel like at this point in the game, I'm actually here with 3 people who I think are really good competitors. And right now, I'm at the point where I feel like I should take out someone who I feel like, though not everyone else may agree, I think is the biggest threat to win in this group, and I feel like is my best shot to win, even though I love this man as a person. I'm sorry, Don, but I vote to evict you.
Good call. Good call.
And with that, Don, I'm sorry. With 1 vote, you have been eliminated from the System Washington. You may say what you'd like before you leave, and then you can head on out.
What I would like to say is, Max, you're a badass. That's a great call. The 3 of you, I literally love y'all so much I cannot explain it. Blake, when you watch it back, I promise you'll see I never worked against you, even though we worked together. And y'all badasses fight it out. I can't wait to vote for one of y'all.
Thanks, Don. Nothing against you.
Thank you for hosting me, bro. Love y'all. See you.
Thank you for playing, Don.
What a class act.
I really want to know what the popularity scores are.
Well, I can tell Max and both Blake and Alex that you may have made a smart decision because Don had the highest overall popularity out of the 3 of you, so he did have one of the parts to win.
What the What was his popularity?
I'm not going to reveal that. All you know is that it was the highest.
Max, what did you do?
What do you mean?
Like, who did you up and down? Because
I downed myself to 28.
Okay. You're lucky. You're lucky that Nate didn't give us a time update because I was talking to Blake until the deadline, and we both couldn't submit our forms because Nate didn't tell us that we had.
I was literally. I was on the forum, and when I said, Nate, how much more time do we have? And he said, the shop is closed. I was literally about to down your ass.
I was so pissed because I was about to do something too, and I'm like, Nate, are you kidding me?
Nate's on my side. He's my teammate.
Congratulations once again, guys. You've made the final 3, and you're done with normal system gameplay, if you want to call it normal. Now, it all comes down to the final chamber to determine who will be in the final 2. So, if you're familiar with the system gameplay, the final chamber is a series of missions that are harder versions of past missions that were in this season. Now, I know that you didn't compete in probably the majority of these, unless maybe you're Alex, but these missions you have seen before, so I highly recommend you practice anything and everything you've seen or can remember from past missions. On top of that, the person who gets first place in the mission will decide to give one of the other 2 players a 5-minute time penalty.
This could be the difference in sending home the person that you want or keeping the person that you want to face as well.
So, final thoughts. I played hard. I played the best I could. I hope everybody understands the game. I thought they did anything blatantly dirty. Maybe the worst one of them all was Dylan. But even if I voted for Dylan, Dylan would have still went. So that kind of sucks for Dylan. And I do hate that. But, I wasn't about to get hung out, like I said. Like, I wasn't going to get hung out on a 4-2-1 or 3-2-1 vote, and I'm the only one. But, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of regret. I don't have a lot of regret. I played well. Max was right to take me out. Come on and kiss my ass. I know I had a legit shot to win the game. Based on the move I made there at the end, I would have probably had a shot. I lowered myself into the chamber thinking I'd be safe. Figuring either Alex or Blake would be safe, and Maximus got safe, And Max made the right call. Max is smart. That been playing well. And I'm just glad I got to meet him. I really did enjoy including Kamani. I thought the jury was an amazing group. I thought we lost some major players that could have been in jury, over other people. But I like the people that are there, and I understand that there are different people play different roles. You can't always get to be the flashy role or the whatever role we play. I got to play a really cool role this game, and it didn't work out. I had to play a lot of sides, and I kind of was getting away with it. It was the right move on Max's part because, if he didn't take me out, Blake or Alex weren't taking me out. There was no reason for them. Maybe they were. I'll find out. I'll ask them at jury, whoever is there, but I don't see why they would have, and I think Max knows that. I think Max knows that I was going to take him out. I had every intention of taking him out with Alex, and so did Alex taking him out. And I think he knew that. I think he knew he had a chance to go with Blake, and now I think Blake will cut Alex. I don't know that Blake can beat Alex or Max, but he's got a better chance against Max than Alex. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Any one of the three of them deserve to win. They're badass players. They're badass people. Love the final three. So proud of them. So glad I got to work with them because I did work with them. Not as much as I normally do with Blake, but Blake's just somebody I have respect for. He's one of those people you just respect in games, and I respect as a person.
This is how this is going to work. There are multiple parts to this mission, obviously, and they are all harder versions of past missions that you may or may not have competed in because of the twist this season.
I competed in like everything.
Almost everything. So, with that, are you ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so once I send the first thing in your Skype production chat, you will need to be on screen share for it, by the way. Okay. Once I send it, your time will start, so I highly recommend doing it now. Going to screen share now. All right. And also, so I'm going to let you know where the first one is. It is the map puzzle, but it's a little different this time. This time, it is the capitals of each and every single one of the states in the United States Union. You'll be having to match them. It's the same website as before, so you're just going to click on the capitals quiz this time instead of the state map quiz. All clear?
God, like, are you kidding me?
All right, ready to begin?
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine now.
Okay, sending the link. Once again, you're clicking the capitals link in the puzzle. Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Do I actually have to place these capitals like completely correctly, or is it just where the state is?
It just has to be where the state is.
Okay, that makes. Charleston. There we go. I don't even know what Charleston is. Charleston is West Virginia, but that is. Girl, is this like upside down? Ding ding. What are these 5 states here? Are you kidding me? Oh, there's Georgia. Baton Rouge, I just saw that. Montgomery.
This is the one that I didn't practice for because I was like, there's no way that you can do this any harder, but apparently I was wrong. South Carolina, St. Louis, Oregon, St. Paul was Minnesota, Juneau. Okay, so I actually got all of these. So where's Montgomery, Alabama, Frankfurt, Kentucky, Madison, Wisconsin, Hartford, Connecticut, Trenton. Is this piece of shit? You. Juneau, Trenton. Juneau, Trenton. Where is Alaska? Of course. I kept forgetting that that was even a thing.
All right. Now you're moving on to stage 2.
I think honestly, like, due to the fact that I didn't have that much pressure on me in the US map puzzle this time because I wasn't participating. Well, technically I am participating against people, but like I was able to do it myself and I didn't need someone like Henning saying, Eric is close, Alex is close. I'm just like, oh. But yeah, I don't think I did amazing, but I think I did below the penalty time, so that's perfect.
The next one you can now go off of screen share is a house of cards. For this one, you will have to stack 3 stories high using all 52 cards of the deck. Is that clear?
Oh my god. The house of cards was so annoying. I could not even believe it. Eight. Ah, go yourself. I hate when I just fall over and it's not even my fault. Oh. Just so you know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm too shaky. I should not drop anything like this right now. No! Okay, like, I wouldn't be raging if it didn't go down the way it did, but like, 2 times I had 50 or 52 cards and then it fell entirely. And it's just like... I'm proud of myself for even finishing that shit. I went into that and I said to myself, I'm not going to simply not finish it. I want to get it done. I did it, baby! I did it! Bitch! Look at this.
All right. You have to count them.
2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11. One just fell. 11. 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33, 35, 36, 38, 39, 41, 42, 44, 46, 47, 48, 50, 52, bitch.
All right, so with that, we're going to move on to the next section. The next section is blackjack. I'm going to be going onto screen share.
Are you kidding me?
So now we go to this. Okay. So the rules are the same, exactly the same as last time. No extra rules, so don't worry about that. It's just, can you beat the house, and you have to do it 3 times in a row. All right. Put that down. And okay, you're at 17. The house is revealing a king.
Stand, please.
And dealer is 20. House wins.
That's cool.
Okay. You're at exactly 20. The house is revealing a 10. All right, you're standing. They have 18. You're at 1.
My luck is horrible. So I didn't even expect blackjack to be a challenge to begin with, because I was like, why the would there be a luck challenge in the final chamber? But yeah, Nate really wants to fuck me over. But apparently I got really lucky here.
8.
Hit.
18.
Stand.
Dealer bust. That's 3. You move on. Next part is the 7 solo cups. You will have to stack all 7 on one hand and hold it for a count of 15.
15 seconds. Bitch. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
It's my stretch. Oh, this is the pretty start. I'm riled up. This is what I mean, like... Okay, listen. This is where it's gonna get interesting. Of course I should have literally just quit and not done it, because, like, for real, I knew my time was just gonna be a lot worse than without the penalty. Yeah, my time was going to be a lot worse than the penalty, but I thought to myself, like, maybe if I did the card house, I could do the cup stacking a lot easier. But no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Thank you, Jesus.
You're now moving on to the final part of the final chamber. I will be sending you a link to a cipher. And on that link, it will also have a link to the United States Constitution. The cipher will work very similarly to the last time, but it's much more difficult to figure out how the cipher works this time. So, good luck on the final part.
Okay. I feel like I cheated the system with the cipher, because the second that, like, I got the first word, I just started to count, like, what does this look like? And then it was like the F. So I was like, the final, and then I saw chamber. It was a lot harder because, like, the combinations started to get a lot more difficult. So at that point I was like, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try to check if there's, like, any parallels to the sentence above, and I found a few, and then I realized I should probably check that entire thing for parallels in the event that, like, the same letters are used in that. No. Final chamber is now over. Congrats on final 3.
That is correct. And
there we go.
As you said, it is now done. So congratulations on completing the final chamber. You can go off of screen share now.
this went horrible. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if I got third place. So I'm really hoping that this is my lifesaver.
Welcome to the final chamber. For the final chamber, you're going to be competing in a series of missions that are harder versions of missions that you may or may not have competed in this season. I'm not going to tell you how many stages there are. You will know when it ends, though, trust me. For the first part of the final chamber, your first mission, it is going to be a capitals quiz. It's very similar to the site that we used before in the second mission of the season, where it was Eric versus Alex, but this time, instead of clicking the state's hard test, you're going to be clicking the capitals test. Clear?
And what is the time penalty?
The time penalty for this one, I believe, is 15 minutes.
Oh, come on. Capitals. Santa Fe. Oh my god, I don't even know where places are. I assume Santa Fe is Mexico, but no, New Mexico, but I don't know where that is. I do think that I did the right move in taking the time penalty, because I know a lot of the state capitals by state, but I don't know what a lot of the states look like. Like, I know what Texas looks like, but that's pretty much it. So I thought I was going to take ages because I was just going to be random guessing. So I took the time penalty. Current time?
Current time is 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
I'm going to take time penalty.
All right, we're stopping the time then. So you're now currently at 17 minutes and 18 seconds. And once you may now go off of screen share. Now you're going to be needing your deck of cards. We're starting the time now. At this point, you're going to be building a minimum of 3-story card house using all 52 cards of the deck.
Oh my god, that's a challenge. And what's the time penalty?
The time penalty is 30 minutes.
Okay, I can beat 30 minutes. All 52 cards. That's f***ing ridiculous. Now, do you understand that that's pretty hard? I feel like I blistered through it, and I feel like I did pretty much like the best score I could see someone getting. I just did it. Like, nothing fell over. I think 2 cards fell over at one point, but I think I did a really efficient job. Done.
Okay, I need to see the entire structure.
Can you see?
Yes, and now start counting your cards.
Okay, is this still count?
That counts, yep. So it has to be 52.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32.
Please move your camera.
4.
Okay.
35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52.
All right, so that concludes that part of the mission. Next I am going to go on screen share. 1 second. And we're going to be playing blackjack.
Cool.
So for this, you will be needing to beat the house 3 times in a row. If you cannot do it 3 times in a row, you will have to start over. Any ties with the house will also count as a point in your favor, even though that is not typical rules of blackjack. There will be no splitting and no pushing. Understood?
Correct.
Okay. 15.
Hit me.
18.
Sam.
Dealer is 19. House wins.
Nibbles. Okay.
You're at 15.
Hit me.
You bust.
Hit me.
Gotta reset.
3 in a row. This is okay. Hit me.
9. Okay. 18.
Send.
Dealer's 18. That's a tie, so you get the points. You're at 1.
I feel like I was pretty unlucky because the blackjack can go really quick and I didn't go as quick as I thought. 4 minutes was okay. I'm not going to complain, but I did an okay job. But I feel like that's just a real luck one. There is some strategy to it, but you have to admit the strategy is not a lot. But I feel like I can't be too far ahead or too far behind of most people.
You're at 13.
Hit.
21, you win. So that's... Hey, that's moving on from there. Now you're going to be going to cup stacking. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Okay, so for this one, you're going to have to hold the cup on the palm of your hand and stack all 7 cups on top of each other, end to end. Once you have all 7 stacked, you have to count to 15. It has to be one at a time. It cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. You have to do it slowly enough that it counts as a second. So just start when you're ready, which you already have.
That's what I think about the cup stacking. That was a pile of absolute garbage. I hated it. Nate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Can I get confirmation?
That counts. You're good. Okay. Moving on to the final part of the whole thing. So, I'm going to be sending you a link in Skype to a cipher. This cipher is for you to solve, and it is tougher than the one we gave Alex and Kamani earlier in the season, so good luck. The link to help you solve the cipher is at the top. It is a copy of the U.S. Constitution. Good luck.
I made a massive mistake not studying the cipher beforehand. I had to actually figure out what it was, and it was public knowledge of how the cipher works. So I should have checked it on the previous round, but I feel like I did a good job just like effectively guessing. And once I figured it out, I went through it pretty quickly. So I think overall I did quite a good job on the cipher. Generally a better job than I could see someone like Blake doing, but I think Alex will get it a little bit quicker than me. Final chamber is now over. Congrats on final 3.
And you're done. You can go off screen share. Your final chamber is now complete.
Capital stuff. Lansing. Oh my god, I don't know the states. I realized that sleeping through geography class in high school was a terrible idea because I realized I don't know where any of the states are except for like 5 of them. I only know like 5 state capitals. I think that's Michigan. Wait. Oh, I see. What state is Michigan? Not that one. Oh, this is gonna take me forever. I knew a lot of the names of state capitals, but I didn't know which states they corresponded to. Like, I definitely knew Little Rock, but I couldn't remember if it was Alabama or Arkansas. I feel like that one sucked for me because I'm dumb. But I'm also against an Australian and a German. So I can't imagine that it went much better for them, but they might have studied harder for it than I did. Yes. 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 Oh, brother. Oh, God. Oh, wait. There's only one thing left. Huh? It's like somewhere around here. There we go. Wow.
All right. The next step is the card house. For this, you'll have to make a 3-story card house using all 52 cards.
Oh, dude, no, I'm skipping that one. Sorry.
All right, we're stopping your time.
It'll literally never happen.
The time penalty for not completing the card house is 30 minutes. Your current time is 15 minutes and 30 seconds. You can go off screen share, by the way.
Okay. I literally would not have gotten that card house done in 30 minutes, so. I felt like I've never successfully been able to build a card house in my life, and I've tried, even in my childhood. And so I figured that whatever the time penalty was would be better than failing for 30 minutes and then taking the time penalty, because worst case scenario, I get a 30-minute time penalty, and then if I had tried to do it for 30 minutes and taken it, I would have had an hour, as opposed to just immediately taking it, knowing I can't do it. So maybe that'll be my downfall, but I feel like that was the only logical thing. I just can't do those.
The next step is blackjack. So let me just get it set up. In order to complete this comp, you have to get 3 wins in a row. Ties count as wins. So if you tie with the house, you still get the point. All good?
Yep.
All right, we are resuming play in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, dealing. You're at 13.
Hit.
21 exact. You
All right,
win.
yeah.
That's 1 point.
Well, my father is a gambling addict, so blackjack is in my DNA. And I feel like, that one's just luck and knowing when to not continue hitting and when to stay.
Next, you're either at 6 or 16.
Hit.
You're at 21 exact again. So it's a tie, so you win anyway.
Okay.
You're at 15.
Oh, God. I'm gonna stay.
Dealer busts. That's 3. So now I'm going to go off screen share. You're moving on to the next part, which is cup stacking. You have to stack all 7 cups end to end. They have to be on the palm of your hand, and you have to hold it for 15 seconds.
15 seconds, Jesus. Alright. I'm good, right? I don't have to wait.
Nope, you can just keep going.
Okay. The one mission that I actually did. Well, let's just set it up here. Set myself up for failure. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The stacking was never the part I had the problem with. It was the holding it. So I'm surprised that I held it for as long as I did and I got it on my first go. So I feel good about that one. I feel like that one's pretty universally doable though. So anyone else could have done that too. So I don't know. Good.
You look good. I'm gonna stop your. Next is going to be the cipher. So I'm gonna be sending you a link over Facebook, obviously, to your very own cipher. You can solve this however you think that you can solve it, but you can also use a copy of the United States Constitution as your cipher code, because that could be helpful. But it's 22 pages, so use it as you will.
I like cryptograms a lot. Those are ciphers, cryptograms, whatever. That's my but this one was very confusing in the way that it was set up, and it made me realize I probably should have studied and watched the Kamani Alex one outside of like the 2 seconds I did watch it. But once I figured out like 2 or 3 of the words, that's when you can kind of figure out the whole thing. So I feel good about that one too. All right.
Read it out loud.
The final chamber is now over. Congrats on final 3. Thanks.
And with that, you are done with the final chamber, and that is a wrap. You can go off of screen share. Congratulations, Blake. You have won the final chamber. At this time, please state the person you would like to give a 5-minute penalty to.
Dude, thank you so much. I'm just going to give my 5-minute penalty to Max. Max is a real know-it-all. He needs to mind his own business, and I think Alex did anyway, so there's no point in giving him a 5-minute penalty. So I'm going to give it to Max.
Hello, contestants, and welcome to the final chamber results. As a reminder, the final 3 are Alex, Blake, and Max. And after a very grueling final chamber, we have our final 2. We're going to start off with the winner first to reveal who they gave a 5-minute time penalty to, which could be the difference between keeping someone or sending them home. The winner of the final chamber is, with a time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 8 seconds, is Blake. Congratulations, Blake. You will be able to state your case in front of the jury and have a shot at winning this game. That means it comes down between Max and Alex. Blake decided to give the 5-minute time penalty to Max. That means, Max, you will be getting 5 minutes added to your time. However, by a difference of almost 40 minutes, Max, you are safe and will be moving on to the final 2 with a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 30 seconds. That means, Alex, I'm sorry, after this entire game with a time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 34 seconds, you have been eliminated and removed from the system. However, we will see you shortly to help decide the winner of the System Washington.
I'm really bummed that I got eliminated in 3rd place, but it's a great way to go out without ever being voted out. I think I absolutely, exceeded my expectations. I am so proud of the game I played. I think I played such a flashy game. I'm so happy with how I did. I know I pissed people off, and I know I lied my ass off, but I feel like this is the kind of game where you can do that. You can lie your ass off. You need to lie your ass off. And, I'm so happy with how I did.
So, welcome Max and Blake to the finale, and congratulations on making it to the final 2. Blake, this is your first chance of making it to the end of the game, and you did it. Max, this is your second chance of making it to the end of the game, and you did it. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Blake, because you won the final chamber, you will have the first word for opening speeches. Max, you will go second. For closing speeches, Blake, you will also go first. Max, you will go second there. All clear? All right. After that, the jury members will be brought in one at a time to question you both. They will have 10 minutes each to say their piece. We will time it, and if they go over, I will eject them, so don't worry about that. But basically, that's all they get. That's all you get. You only get 10 minutes for your opening speeches as well, so make it count. So with that, good luck, and Blake, go ahead and get started.
Oh my god, alright, so Excuse me. So it's very rare that I get nervous about things, but I'm surprisingly very nervous about this. So if I talk stupidly fast during this, I just wrote this speech about 5 minutes ago. So, whew. Okay. I know it's cliche to start these things by saying, like, thank you, Nate, for hosting this game, because, like, Nate, you put me through 2 weeks of emotional torture, so, you for that. But this is a really good game. Anybody watching this, obviously, you should play this game. Man, you think I would be better at public speaking by this point. Okay, so much like the overall format of this game, I feel like there were multiple layers to my game that can be categorized with, like, very specific titles. So the first third of my game was, like, the micromanaging portion. The second third of the game was, like, anybody but me. Just, I gotta protect myself, everybody else. And then the final stretch was the road to the end game, which is kind of when I realized that there was a plausible chance of me ending up here. And so I feel like there's key points at all those sections that'll outline why I deserve the jury votes. So I'm going to go through those one by one. But let me just take a deep-ass breath really quick. All right. So coming into this, at the beginning of the game, I kind of felt like an overwhelmed kid in a candy store. Like, there's so many layers and factors that make up this game, and they can make or break you to the point where, like, even the most calculated plan can you up at some point. So I've been known in the past to be a chronic overplayer, and I thought that coming into this that I was going to be a chronic overplayer. So my first goal in this game was to position myself in an alliance with 3 people that I thought would be big meat shields that would blow up before me. Those 3 people were Bill, Eric, and Don. So I found myself in an alliance called the Cabinet with Bill, Eric, and Don, and I knew that if I kind of just took it easy, these people would all kind of blow up before I could. So the first round, I wanted to work with Ivy, but Ivy kind of went and was a nightmare. And so I knew that I needed Ivy to go home. So luckily, someone like Bill, who kept like extensive notes about this game, Bill was willing to do a lot of the grunt work to make sure Ivy went home. So round 1 was super perfect for me. I was able to get my way with that. Sorry, there's a loud-ass bird in the background. I was able to get my way with the Ivy vote without getting a lot of the blood on my hands for it, and that kind of painted a big target on Bill's back going into round 2. And with all of that, it isolated Kamani. Round 2 was like a big epiphany for me because I was shocked by the chamber results. Bill going into the chamber was not something that I expected. And then Bill going home kind of taught me that I cannot micromanage this game. I realized that this is a game that you can win by yourself as far as keeping yourself out of the chamber. God, I sound so shaky. But you just have to make friends that are willing to save you. So I kind of got kicked into the anybody but me portion of the game. So once Bill went home, it was that first live night, and I realized that no matter what happened, I just needed to protect myself. So throughout the first 2 rounds, I had worked to ensure that my popularity was good, because I knew that the popularity and prism ratio would be the things that determine the instant eliminations. So I tried to make sure my popularity stayed high in case that was what it was round 1. So once Bill went home, it dawned on me that Alex was a really smart player, and Alex was getting a lot more credit than Alex deserved a lot more credit than I was giving him. So, hey, what's up? So I knew that at that point I had to kind of publicly blow up at Alex. I had to kind of make a scene so nobody would ever predict that we would be working together. So once the vote tied 3 ways, it was kind of the first time where I didn't really try to control everything, and I kind of just let the chips fall where they may, and it was kind of just a royal show. So for a few rounds after that, like specifically the Kayla, Brian, and Dylan rounds, I forget a lot of the people in this game from pre-jury. Specifically the Kayla and Brian rounds, I didn't really bother with trying to lower anybody or raise anybody except for myself. I realized that with my alliance with Alex and the connection that I've been developing with Regan, these were people that could save me. So I kind of realized in this part of the game that less was more, in the sense that you didn't need a ton of votes to stay, you just needed a very specific number every time. So I kind of let Regan do a lot of the dirty work. Once Bill left, Regan became the overplayer in my game. She did a lot of the micromanaging, and then I got to utilize my connections with Alex and Dawn to get to people that I didn't really talk to. Dawn had a good connection with Max. Alex had a good connection with Riley. So I kind of got a lot of information from them through those people. These connections allowed me to get myself out of the situation when I was in the chamber with Brian and Eric. I got a lot of people to save me at that point. Nobody really wanted me to go home, minus Kamani. And then the second live night obviously didn't go as I planned. Regan kind of micromanaged to get Kamani out, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So my biggest nemesis in the game, Kamani, stayed around. The second live night was when I realized Max was probably a sleeper pick to win this game, and it kind of became my mission to get Max out of here. Obviously, as you're seeing now, that did not work, but the second live night, I was really able to control things. Once Dylan left, I knew that I had to get Kamani the out, and me, Regan, and Alex were safe, so we were able to work on that. And then once I found myself in the chamber with Eric and Max, I knew that it was self-preservation. I knew I just had to keep myself safe. So I was able to make it out of a couple chambers unscathed up to that point. And then the final 6 round, obviously, I think is when I path to the end game kind of kicked in. I think the final 6 round was like the most critical and the most crucial to my game. These were the rounds when I started to try and balance out my popularity and keep my ratio down just to like only minimally bump myself up. I knew that in these rounds, if I found myself in the chamber, it wouldn't matter because I had the connections necessary to keep myself safe. In Final 6 specifically, I didn't adjust my own popularity at all because I knew that Don, Alex, and Regan would all be votes on my side, and in a 3-person vote to save, you only need 1 vote to ensure your safety. Max and Riley kind of made a mistake there trying to get Regan to be strong-armed into not saving me, but my strong connection with Regan allowed me to get her vote, and Regan kind of risked her game for me. So that was like my most crucial moment, I would say, is like having Regan go to the wheel for me, who I didn't have a good connection with coming in, but like my connections in game helped with that. At Final 5, once again, I didn't with my own popularity because I knew that the Dawn and Regan beef was strong, and I made an effort to remind Alex that Max was his biggest threat to win. So I knew that that was going to keep me out of the chamber. I couldn't control Max at the Final 5 save vote. He took advantage of the fact that I was saving Regan and overloaded her, which I think is the reason he's sitting on the jury now. I knew that Alex could never beat Max, so I tried to utilize that, and he kind of just fell short there. But despite how much I wanted to, I knew it would be impossible to get rid of Max before Final 3, and so I kind of just had to hope for the best with the endgame situation. All in all, I know that I didn't play a perfect game. I know that sometimes I didn't manage the social connections the best, and I know that there were flaws in the strategic plans that I tried to come up with, but this is a game that I think is about adapting to your circumstances, and I think that I did that a lot better than pretty much anyone in this game, and I definitely think I adapted better than Max could have. And I think that this is a game that tries to reward under-the-radar players, but I feel like I played an over-the-top game, and I still managed to make it here. I think my connections allowed me to be a high-visibility player. It allowed me to be at the forefront of a lot of things when a lot of those players went home in pre-jury. So I think that, to a degree, there is some merit to an under-the-radar game, but I just think that a lot of what I did outshines a lot of what Max did, and I would love to hear you guys' questions because I'm really at these speeches, and I'm probably really scatterbrained, but yeah, good luck. That was just to Max, not good luck to the rest of you.
All right, thank you, Blake. With that, it is now Max's turn. So, Max, your time starts now.
Thanks for the luck, Blake, and I wish you good luck as well. And I'll do the quick get off my chest. Thanks, Nate, for hosting an amazing season. I've really enjoyed this game both times I've got to play it, and I'm so glad that I got to make it to the end this round. And in my speech, I'm going to talk about why I got to the end, the key parts of my game, and why I think I deserve your jury votes. But like Blake, I'm super nervous, and I think it's important for me to talk about why this game was so important to me. I came in Season 1 playing a game that I thought was really strong, and then I made mistakes, and that led to my defeat in a twist round. So when I got the invite to come back as a pre-jury player, I was really happy that I got to come back, but I knew I need to mitigate those mistakes. And I need to plan for twists, and I need to strategize knowing the game more than any of the other players except for Alex. And I feel like using that strategy, that's how I led myself to the victory. So I started coming into this game late, with a target on my back as one of the sole returnees, and with losing about 24 hours of conversation time. To counteract for that, I tried to make quick relationships with the people that I flagged as like the power players. People that I saw as Alex, Cody, Don, Bill, Blake, Eric, among others. And those people early I tried to get myself in relationships with and make sure that those people weren't up for targeting me in the early rounds. Also, in the early game, I did other strategies to mitigate my target. Alex and I lied to the group about how the parties were chosen,
we actually got to pick the parties and we were shown the cast. We got to draft it, but Alex and I lied and to try and mitigate our targets so that people didn't perceive us as people who were planning things or had as big a threat as the players who came into the game previously. So early in the game, I realized that some of the power players that I was putting trust in weren't necessarily putting as much trust in me as I had in them. These people like Blake, Eric, Bill, I saw as big threats as they were building an alliance that would oppose me. So early on, I was a key member of the Bill blindside early, which I think was a very important move to put myself away from the targets. And I feel like it also put myself in a position where I was kind of safe, because there were people who were bigger faces of the Bill blindside, but I was still someone who made that move to protect myself. Also, I then positioned myself into the most important alliance of the game, the priceless international dream team that consisted of Alex, Riley, myself, and Dom. This alliance kind of utilized connections with everyone. Similar to what Blake was saying, I worked with people who had connections with other people to push myself towards the victory. I knew Don was a part of the Cabinet Alliance and used Don's connections to kind of sabotage a lot of the things the Cabinet was doing as part of that key Priceless International Dream Team Alliance. Also at this point, I made myself a key relationship with the person who I believe is the most controversial player in the game, Kamani. And Kamani was a crucial friend, ally, and shield for me in this game, because Kamani was always targeted because a lot of people didn't like him. And I knew that standing behind Kamani, I could make moves but not be targeted. So I played an under-the-radar game while still being visible because I had someone like Kamani and people like Alex and Don as well as my allies. I also earned the Pardon during my game, the most powerful power in this game, through my prism management, having the lowest prism ratio at a middle point in the game, which shows one of the key points in my game, which was prism management. I knew that one of the live night deciders could be having a low prism ratio, so I made sure my prism ratio was low throughout the game. I tried to only spend when it was necessary, and I did that effectively, only being in the chamber 2 times, 3 if you count being, if you count the round I used the Pardon. I also positioned myself in the late game effectively, making sure that that Alex would keep me safe in a round where I feel like it was beneficial for him to eliminate me because I was a threat to his game. I also managed my prisms so that I could eliminate the person I believed to be a massive threat to win the game in Don, and I made sure that he would be eliminated from the game at Final Four, where I was up against someone, though he played a strong game, I knew was weak in physical challenges in Alex. And that meant that I could lock myself up a spot in Final 2 where I can deliver this speech, where I can tell the group that I feel like I played a very strong game, and I can't wait to answer your questions and expunge any doubts you have about the game I played. And I thank you guys for being great players in this great season.
All right, thank you, Max. So now I will be bringing in the first juror. We're going to be going in elimination earlier, so it's going to in elimination order. So that means it's going to be Dylan first.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
All right, Dylan, you have 10 minutes, and your time starts now.
Okay. I want to make a statement before I start this. I want to say sorry to the hosts of this game, and I want to say sorry to the players. I wasn't really able to give my all this season. I'm really disappointed because the first round, I really put a lot in. And I'm sorry to a majority of you and to the host because I didn't really have any fire to participate because, as some of you may know, I was very sick throughout the majority of the season. And around the ender portion of this game, like, I'm actually very happy that I did not stay towards the end of the jury because I had to deal with some very drastic health issues with my mom. So I'm just sorry that I wasn't able to give everything to this game because I really wanted to. My confessionals might reflect it because I love just talking to a camera. But I'm sorry for that. Next thing I want to say to you guys. I didn't really get to... I've been watching some of the people on the jury talk. And it just seems that there's a common trend. And I thought I was the only person that you guys didn't talk to. It seems that there's a common trend between both of you in that you both were not very social with people. Blake, we talked the first round, and then after that, I even tried reaching out to you while you were on the block, and you just never responded to me. I don't understand if it was just there wasn't a need for me because I was a non-entity. I don't know if it was just like, oh, you don't care. Like, but I know from experience, because I've gotten to sit in those two chairs before, it's sometimes the most irrelevant players that turn out to be the most important players. Because when it comes down to the end, it can be one vote that over. I've felt that need. I want to say that I don't really know either of your games. I feel kind of disconnected to the whole season, so I can't really put into words like how I feel and how I think. All I know is that I went home and it was unexpected, but I kind of felt something, and I don't get it still. It's all right though. So I want a few things, because right now, if I was going to vote right now, I'm going to vote for Max. I need to know what's the tea. So I have a question for both of you. Firstly, what was the mindset in when you cast your vote the round I was eliminated? I'm going to start with Max.
Well, going into that round, Dylan, well, firstly, here's the tea. Dylan, going into that round, you asked me, who are you going to vote for? And I said, I've already promised my vote to someone else, and because it was you, Regan, and Kamani on the block, it was pretty obvious that my vote was going to save Kamani. And the logic there was Kamani was someone who I had a really good relationship with in the game, but also he was causing drama like up the wazoo, which helped me fade into the background while still making moves, which is like, and I didn't have as good a relationship with you or Regan. I would say those are the two of the weakest relationships I had. So it was a no-brainer for me to save Kamani.
And I want to say thank you also, because you were the only person that whole round, besides Regan, that didn't shove bull up my ass. Don sat on a call with me and said to my face that he was saving me. Alex didn't promise me his vote, but said he'll see what he could do. You were the only person that just was straight up to me, and I appreciate that. And Blake, I want to know what your mindset in the game was. I'm not like offended that you didn't save me because we didn't have connection, but I want to know what your mindset was.
Here's the thing with that round, right? That was in the height of my I'm not going to micromanage anything portion of the game. And when you, Regan, and Kamani all went into the chamber, not that I didn't care about y'all as like players, but I just didn't care what happened because I was safe and I felt like I will do whatever. Shockingly, I had a good relationship with Regan, and I felt like Regan had saved me a time or two, so I owed her a save vote back. Regan concocted this whole elaborate plan where she was going to get 3 votes, you were going to get 2, and Kamani was just going to have Max's vote. And so, believe it or not, I did go around close to the end of the round talking to Riley, talking to Dawn, talking to everybody to make sure that 3-2-1 thing followed through. I didn't talk to you about it, and that is obviously a mistake, but as far as Regan micromanaging that, all she asked me was to put my vote onto her so she could get 2 on you, and that Kamani would go home. No part of me wanted you to go home that round. In fact, I was completely blindsided. Like, I had a feeling there was some shady shit, but that was just I couldn't control all of the factors. So I put my vote onto Regan because she had it mapped out what she thought was perfectly, and I had also heard that the round prior, when I was in the chamber with Brian and Eric, you told Alex and some other people on a call that I was a big threat. So at that point, I was like, as long as Regan survives, I do not care what else happens, but I would prefer Kamani to go. if you had actually been coming after me, I couldn't have cared less whether you stayed or went, but my goal was not for you to go, and I was very blindsided by that.
Well, to that, I will say this. Nobody ever had me in a group. I was never added to an alliance. I was never added to a group. And who said that to you?
It was Alex. He said there was a call that he was on with like you and Dawn, and it's all fuzzy in my memory because it was like
me and Dawn. I think I had maybe one call with Dawn, and it was the round where I asked him to keep me. So that's false, and I know that he made up a lie about me and Regan and Riley having an alliance the first round or whatever it was. Yeah, that's all false, and it doesn't surprise me that he said that.
I do have one more thing to say to you, though, in response to something you said at the beginning. That night when you called me, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought you just called by accident. Like, I didn't ignore you as a player because I didn't care about your vote. The round when I was in the chamber with Eric and Ryan, I didn't think there was a way that I could get more than 2 save votes. So I wanted to just only get 2 save votes, and I went to people saying, hey, please don't vote for me, and then things kind of turned around differently. So it wasn't like I was like, Dylan, I don't care about him. I kind of just wanted to present the image of like, I don't want your votes, because I knew I had Alex and Dawn saving me regardless. So it was a weirdly crafted plan that didn't end up panning out the way that I wanted it to, but it wasn't like I just disregarded you as a human, because you were super crucial to round 1 Ivy going home. Like, if it wasn't for you, she might have survived, and that was big for my game. And so I felt like we had a good relationship, and then you kind of just like, it kind of plateaued and you disappeared a little bit, which I understand, but it just
that's why I'm really disappointed, because I feel like there could have been so much more. But I really appreciate you saying that. It actually clears up a lot in my mind. Last thing I wanted to say, and then my last question is to the jury. I wasn't there because I just could not deal with people. Whatever hate, whatever anger you have about the game, whatever fights, whatever it is, I don't really care. It's just, like, this is a game. I couldn't care. Kamani, I know you have your issues with me. I tried not doing anything about it, but life is too short. Why care about issues in games? I was pissed when I left, and then after the night, I said this to Nathan, I'd be pissed the night that I was eliminated, then after that, I'll stop caring. And just do that. And I don't know if you guys have been assholes to Blake and Max, but it's just a game in the end. And my last question to both of you is just for my knowledge, like, I know I wasn't a big part in either of your games, but like, what was my part in both of your games? I'll start with Max.
In all honesty, Dylan, you were someone in the game, but to my game, you were fairly unimportant. And you were someone that I felt that if they go home and it's not a big deal, but someone that I felt because of a previous relationship and because I knew you in the past, someone I felt that if I really needed you, I could have a conversation and you would be someone I could use.
I respect that.
Okay. Well, like I said, round 1, you were super critical to that. I didn't really know you. I knew from what I had heard secondhand, people claimed that you were this like erratic, loud player, and so I was kind of skeptical to bring up the Ivy plan to you, because the Ivy plan was crafted in my head before I talked to you. But then once I talked to you, I heard that you were kind of on the same wavelength, and I realized we could work together on that. And then we kind of just went separate ways after that. Like, it was just a bad situation of like not being able to socialize as much, but like we never really got much going after that. But I can't pretend like Ivy didn't almost exclusively go home because you had a big part. Like, you played a super huge part in like setting the wheels in motion and getting a lot of people on board for that. So I mean, that was definitely key, and it set me up, I think, for a long time, because Ivy could have been detrimental.
Oh, I think she would have made it to the end if she didn't go from the first round. Well, thank you both for your candidness. I wish both of you the best of luck. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Definitely opened my mind by talking to both of you. And to Nathan, thank you for accepting me, even if it was as an alternate. I'm sorry I couldn't have done more. I'm proud of what I did the first round. And to both of you, congrats on making it to the end. And Max, you redeemed yourself from the first game that you played. You did a hell of a lot better. And good luck. And jury people, be kind. Okay. Good night.
Thank you, Dylan. All right. Welcome, Kamani.
This time, you have 10 minutes. If for whatever reason things explode into shouting match, you will be muted. So please don't go that far, okay?
I promise.
Thank you. Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you, Daddy. Just kidding. Congratulations to you guys. Y'all made it here for a reason. I'm going to be nice today because bitch, it's finale night. It's time to go. So, I first want to say this. Please don't sugarcoat me because I do not play with that. Be honest, and I will definitely take into consideration what you said. So, my first question, or I'm going to start off with Max. Hi, Max. Missed you. I can just say, like, going into the jury, I felt like you had a great chance at winning if you were to take the right person, and I feel like you are with the right person. But I feel like what the jurors are saying is that I feel like the first time you played, you had the best social game. You had a good chance at winning the first time. But this time around, people are like, okay, you're not living up to what you did the first time. So my first question to you is, do you think you really deserve redemption? And if so, what did you change besides your overall placements?
I feel like the social games I played the first time and the second time were equal but very different. I feel like there were some key relationships I had this game, while I had numerous relationships my last game. And I strategized in a different way because I felt in this game it was important to have key relationships that propelled me far. I think those key relationships were the relationships with you, Kamani, because you were, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat you, I'm just being honest, I thought you were a great friend, but also a great shield and a great ally, because I thought you didn't have many people behind your back. And my relationship with you was stronger compared to relationships with other people because they had more relationships. Also, I thought my relationship with Alex was key. As the returnees in the game, I thought it was an important relationship also because I used his relationships to propel me through the game. Also, my relationship with Don was key. And I feel like also I played a similar game to my first game in the early game, in which my relationships were more spread out, but I had to betray a few of those people to put myself in a better position by eliminating Bill.
I have one more question. Actually, yeah, one. If you would have been there for live night, the elimination I left, would you have kept me in the game? Because come to find out, you had alliance with Donald, Riley, and Alex, which I did not know a part of, and I felt some type of way when I heard about it. So I want to know, would you have kept me?
Kamani, no bull. I would have protected you as much as I could because the people in that alliance I thought had a higher chance of beating me than you did, and I thought that my relationship was more exclusive than my relationships with the people in that alliance. That is not a bullshit. That's just my honest opinion.
I believe you. Thank you, Max. And you played a good game. And also, side note, you were kind of some eye candy I thought of. So, and Cody and Alex. Blake, congratulations to you. I'm not going to be mean tonight unless you give me a reason. My overall, Blake, when I came into this and I saw that you were here, you're going to look back and look hella dumb or feel some type of way. Because when I came into this game, I was like, I want to work with Blake. I want to show Blake that I don't have a problem with him. I'm not a malicious person. I'm not a mean person, period. I am nice until you give me a reason not to be nice. I feel like in this game, you had no reason to target me, be mean to me, or anything. You, Regan, and Dylan I know Dylan and I, we had issues outside of this, but you three had no reason to come for me at all in this game. And even the jurors say that your behavior in this game and the way how you spoke to people is just horrible. And that's going to you. So why should I vote for you when you gave me no respect at all? And I had so much respect for you before round 2 even happened. Why should I vote for you?
Okay, so I just want to start by saying I targeted you for a non-personal reason, and I mean that truly, and that's not sugarcoating. you and I don't have personalities that clash well. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. I just don't get along with you. And I just don't think that if we ever met outside of this game that we would get along on a personal level. That doesn't mean that I wanted to target you for that, because I know that it didn't make sense for this game. The reason that I targeted you round 2 and stole your prisms was because when you were left out of the Ivy thing or whatever, I felt like of all the people that you were going to come for because of that, I thought based on our past history, it would be most likely that you came for me. No. So I didn't steal prisms for any malicious reason. I just felt like you had so few prisms, and I was concerned that you were going to come for me, so I wanted to counteract that. Was it the right decision? Maybe not. It was an impulse decision, and I kind of regret it. As far as the personal behavior thing, the first live night was very weird, and I think that I unnecessarily popped off, but it got out of hand just in the sense that people have always, my whole life since I've been 16, come at me for this voice thing, which I've never given a about, because I know I have a weird sounding voice. And from my perspective, the first shot that was fired at me on a personal
I'm not gonna say
attack,
the word, but I'm not gonna say the word.
the first thing you said to me.
I'm gonna say this. We have something in common. We have people coming for our own insecurities. We may not care, but still at the end of the day, you should understand that you came from me too.
Here's how I approach things. I was never going to come at you for anything personally. The first thing I remember you saying to me was, well, you're over here sounding like a which doesn't offend
because
me.
y'all came, I'm going to say this, y'all came at me first with it. Y'all came at me first, you and Dylan.
Right.
I'm not trying to do a shouting match, so I'm going to try to cut it off.
Sorry.
I'm going to just try to cut it off because I'm not trying to have a shouting match.
No, I'm not. No. It's my internet's bad, so I cut people off by accident.
But I'm just saying this. You and Dylan came at me first. When I came into the call, I only asked, why was I being targeted? And y'all came at me first. Okay. Dylan came at me first.
You're right.
Y'all called me sharply water. I look stunning, and I know I do.
Okay.
If you have insecurities and you own up to it, don't judge on someone else's insecurities either. That's it at the end of the day. So another question for you, and I'm going to say this right here. Why should we vote for you when it goes back to my first question. Why should we vote for you when some people say that you were so mean to them? Dylan has said it. Eric has said that you was wild. You said some wild things to them or him or whatever. Why should we vote for you? Why should we ignore your behavior, ignore your personality, and vote for you?
I feel as though my relationship with Dylan was non-existent. Dylan did not talk in this game to me. He did not speak at all. I never said anything negatively about Dylan. And as far as Eric goes, Eric is the type of person that I also just do not understand. I never said anything rude about him. I just think Eric is a quirky guy who I do not vibe that well with. I never said anything malicious about Eric. I never said anything malicious about Dylan. And if they feel that I did, I hope they can come in here and ask me about those things specifically, because I don't want to hear it secondhand. I think the reason that they should vote for me is because in a lot of ways, like I said in my opening speech, this is a game that can be played by yourself. And if people feel like I mishandled social relationships, they're not necessarily wrong in those assumptions. I think a lot of the social relationships, especially in the jury, I could have handled a lot better. But I think at the end of the day, this is a game about adapting. And if people don't like you, it's not Survivor where they can just vote you out. It's not Big Brother where they can put you up on the block. It's a game where you can protect your own ass regardless of whether people like you. And I felt like like Max said, I feel like a couple of close connections were better than being everybody's best friend. So a lot of times, Dylan and I had almost no relationship because Dylan was not around. I made effort with Dylan until I heard that he was targeting me the round I was in the chamber with Brian and Eric. After that, I gave him no opportunities because I did not want to deal with it. I never said anything personally malicious about Dylan, and I never said anything personally malicious about Eric. I said that Eric is quirky and he's a lot to deal with, and I stand by that. That is not a mean thing to say. Eric is a quirky dude, and I mean that deeply from the bottom of my heart. Kamani, as far as you go, I will say I grossly mishandled our relationship, and I didn't come in here naive enough to think that you're going to go, oh, I should vote for Blake because of his speech. I knew that if I jump through flaming hoops for you, you're still not voting for me. So I'm not going to sit here and apologize to you specifically for what I said because things got out of hand and it on both ends. But, I'm not stupid.
Well, I'm going to just say to you, I don't want an apology, but also I'm going to say to you that yesterday I was considering voting for you. I was, because I was pissed off at Alex. I was. So just know that I'm a bigger person. And I'm an adult to understand, I can forgive this bitch as much as I don't like him. And actually might give him a vote. And you can still get a vote for me tonight.
And
But
I'm going to try my ass off because I didn't want to fight with you here, and I'm glad that you came
I'm
in
not
here.
fighting at all, period, because I got pizza to eat. Baby, it's finale. It's time to go. But congratulations to you both. Max, you got this. Fight hard for it, okay? Fight hard for this. I had your back since the gate. I said that day one. I'm going to say it again. You got it. I love you. You are my friend. Blake, as much as I don't really like you, you got it too. You did what you could. And tell Adrian I said hello, because I miss her.
All right, time is up. So with that, thank you, Kamani.
Thank you.
We will see you some other time. Eric, go ahead and start.
Well, hi everybody. This is Quirky Eric here in the jury. It's so great to see all of you. Oh my gosh. Well, let me start off on a great positive note. Congratulations, both of you. You both played a fantastic game. You just rocked it out every bit, every single round. I thought it was just amazing. So no matter who I vote for tonight, please know that you both absolutely killed it tonight. It was just absolutely amazing to watch you both. And I know I'm going to be grilling both of you in just a couple moments here, but just know for a fact that my decision is totally up in the air tonight. And I'm just looking forward to just being able to see where your heads were at in the game. So if you don't mind for a moment, I'm going to join in the hat festivities for the final time this season as I say, this is Eric in the jury on the system. I'm Eric. Let's talk about the game. Okay, so I just have a couple questions for both of you, like one general question for each of you, and then I just have some open floor questions for however much time I have. So my sense in the game for both of you, and I'm just going to start with Max. Max, it was fun playing with you. I think we've had some really great connections, and just like, all of our conversations were just really amazing. I think your fans will say that you played a fantastic under the radar game, and I think your critics will probably say, you know, he was playing really like floating to the end. So I was wondering if you could take this opportunity. I want you to give me one move that you made in this game. Not, oh, I told Alex to do this or I told Don to do that. But one move that you made in this game that took you to where you are at today.
The most important move I made in the game that I solely made was locking myself up the spot in the final three by managing my prisms and taking out Dom. Now, I believe that in my perception of the game, and hopefully my perception is correct, I felt Don was the biggest threat. He was someone who was incredibly likable, played a great game, had relationships with a lot of people, played both sides. I saw him as a massive target and someone who would beat me. I also knew that in that final four round, I pretty much had three people breathing down my neck wanting me out. And I wanted to get myself safety and put myself in the spot where I can be speaking to you today, Eric. So in the final four round, I spent a lot of prisms to make sure that I would be on that maximum amount of prisms and I would be definitely safe so I could take Don out and get myself to the final three of legitimately two people I thought I could beat.
Great. And Blake, so I'm going to give you the exact opposite of this question. So Blake, I think your fans will say that you played a very over-the-top kind of game, like a very, like everybody knew where you stood at a particular point, whether it was right or wrong, everybody knew where you stood. And I think your critics will end up saying about you that, and, you know, we can go into a whole, you know, I know people are going to be asking about this tonight, so I'm not going to belabor the point, that you played really on the personal attack, on the bullying side. I don't want to use that word too strongly, but it was definitely an aggressive game. Oh, and by the way, because it was brought up earlier, I never heard anything about you saying anything about me in the game. I have no personal beef with you. I think, you know, all of our conversations were just always amazing, and hey, I don't mind being quirky. It's better than being boring. So well, you get 100% of Eric 100% of the time. It's always good. So thank you for always dealing with that. Okay, back to the game. Okay, there we go. So as I was saying, So the exact opposite of this question. So you've been known to make the big move, the loud move in the game. What was the quietest move that you made in the game that took you to where you're at today?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, Eric, when I say quirky, I just mean that every time I got on a call with you, you were this big ball of energy, and a lot of times I was never that big ball of energy. Being on calls with you, Bill, and Don was like being on calls with 3 people that just did 85 lines of cocaine, and I just did not. I couldn't. I was so overwhelmed sometimes. It was never a mean thing. You guys were a ball of energy, and sometimes I can't do it. So I'm glad to hear that you don't have any like personal ill will against me, because I don't feel like I said anything, so that was like caught me off guard. Anyway.
No, you're good. You're good.
In a way, my most quiet move is the same as my most loud move, I would say, which is at Final 6, getting Regan to put her vote onto me and basically risking going to the wheel. Literally within the last 5 minutes before that deadline, Regan was in my PM saying, oh, hey, they're forcing me. They have 1 vote on Alex, 1 vote on Dawn. If I vote you, it's going to the wheel. And I think like my quiet relationship with Regan the whole season that might have been more obvious than I'm giving it credit for, but I came into this with a beef with Regan. So I think having that relationship with Regan and being able to talk her into essentially putting her own game at risk was my most like last 5 minutes quiet behind the scenes move. I will say as well, I feel like a quieter move that I made was developing a more secret thing with Alex. I don't know how secret he necessarily kept it, but after the first live night when I had some beef with Alex publicly, I immediately went to him to develop not necessarily a final 2, but an agreement where we could like finally start working together. And through Alex, I got a lot of information on what other people were saying to counteract my less than superior social game. And I know that I'm the king of answering questions that weren't asked, but kind of to respond to your whole being in confrontation and bullying, I'm not going to say that you're throwing the term bullying around lightly, because I don't think you are. I think that a lot of what happened was that I was very antagonistic towards Kamani specifically, and I will stand by that because my whole plan in this game was to make sure Kamani was always the one on the forefront. And so if it came across as bullying, I know there were things that were below the belt, and I feel like those things could have been altered or maybe said differently, but my plan was just to antagonize Kamani because I know he reacts emotionally, as do I, and I know how to with me, so I know how to with a person like me. So there's a long-winded way to answer that question.
Sure, no worries. That totally makes sense. And then just a couple quick, both of you getting the same question, just to kind of wrap this all up here. So you have an opportunity to create your own final 3. You're obviously in it, of course, but you can only put in 1 juror and 1 pre-juror. Who would it be? I don't know if we have time for why, but just naming 2 people, a pre-juror and a juror. Blake, go first.
It will be Regan and Kayla, because Kayla made a point to talk about repeatedly how she was not good at competitions. Kayla, love her to death. She was a real sweetheart, but she didn't have the best social game. Anytime I would talk to her, it was very dry, and Regan made a lot of enemies. I knew that Regan wasn't the best at competitions, and if I sat next to Regan in Final 2, someone like Kamani, whose vote is not as up in the air, would have been up in the air between me and Kamani. My ideal final 2 or final 3 of just jurors was me, Regan, and Dawn. So if I have to replace Dawn with someone, it's 100% going to be Kayla or maybe Brian, because Brian just didn't exist.
Great. Max, same question?
For me, it would be Kamani and Ivy. I feel like Ivy was someone who, if she didn't go in that first round, was someone I could have had a really good connection with. And I feel like also she rubbed a lot of people in this game the wrong way, so I could have got votes above her. And I feel like, as spoken openly in this game, a lot of people didn't bond with Kamani in the way that I did, so I felt that I would also get votes over here.
Awesome. And then one final question, and grab your cat, dog, or hamster, because this one's going to be a petty question. Had to get one pun in. Time to drink. Okay. So, anyway, so I got, this is just a funny final question. I got gypped in touchy subjects. I didn't get nominated for anything. So if you had to give one category to me for touchy subjects so I can have closure in my life for that one, what would it be? Whoever, I think Max, whoever going to go first, since Blake
okay,
first.
I'll go first. For you, I feel like I would say easiest conversations, and that's not a savage one. I know you probably want the savage one, Eric.
It's all good.
I'm very easy to talk to, but if I had to say savage one, I had to do a savage one. It'd be person who most looks like a stereotypical nerd from a high school movie.
There's a guy after my vote. My gosh. And Blake, same question to you.
Wait, are we doing real ones from the actual competition? Because that's what I was going to do.
It doesn't matter.
Well, as far as the real competition goes, I have a mean one and a good one. I was gonna say number one is smooth talker because I feel like if you were ever a serial killer, nobody would ever suspect you because the way you talk to people is like you're trying to sell a used car and you're doing it very successfully. Now, the mean one. Not necessarily from my perspective, but from what everyone else would say to me, it seemed like you were the person who thought they were running the game, but they weren't. Now, I did get that one, and I feel like it might be a compliment because I love me. So if you're getting that, that means that you were probably secretly running the game, and they were just mad at you. But I do feel like smooth talker is probably the one because there's never really a time where you excessively stutter. I feel like most people, when they talk, they're like, and you're always very straight through, even with puns.
All right,
Well,
that's time's up.
Thank you guys so much. Good luck to both of you. Great game.
Welcome back, Riley. Your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay, well, congrats, guys. I went into this wanting to vote Alex, but clearly I can't do that, so I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm really torn between both of you because out of the final 6, you two are the ones I talked the least with, so I literally don't know what I'm going to do. Let's start with the game. So can both of you turn around?
Do I need to be muted or no?
You don't have to be muted. I just need to see
Okay.
you raise your hand. So just turn around and I'm going to ask a question. And if you feel like you did that or you think you have done that, raise your hand. Okay?
Okay.
So the first one is, do you think you played a great social game? Okay. Next one is, did you have to rely on others in order to get here? Okay. And the last one is, do you think you have my vote? Okay. You guys can turn back around. So I'm gonna start with Max. Max, where do I live?
You live in Brisbane.
Where do you live?
Canberra. Well, I'm not there now, but I live in Canberra.
Okay. So, considering we both live in the same time zone, the only connection we had was with Don and Alex, and besides that, we never really talked. So, why should I vote for you considering we literally had zero connection?
Yeah, Riley, I acknowledge that socially I with you, and I feel like you were a big mistake in my game. And because honestly, I told a lot of people this going into the game. When I saw you on the cast list, like round 0, I was like, I want to get chatting with this dude and make a final 2 deal with him because I want to play with an Australian because time zones are great. But I started in the early rounds. I don't know if it was my fault or your fault. It takes two to tango. I couldn't really get off the ground with you, and then I up by not really trying to maintain a relationship strongly, right? And that's my fault, and I acknowledge that. But I feel like you should vote for me because I played a strong game, and even though our relationship wasn't strong, you got to see the game I played firsthand and make contributions to the alliance that we were both in, an alliance that I think you can agree was responsible for a lot of the decisions that went along in the stretch. And I feel like my part of that alliance was a very important part, and that's why I think you should vote for me.
Do you think that without that alliance that you would have made live night that Kamani, Dylan, and Eric all went?
I think that that alliance was a very important piece on why I got to stay around that I admit I wasn't there. Like, I think that those were And that relationship that I created and that propelled me into that alliance helped me survive where I literally couldn't save myself. So yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on to Blake now. Blake, I feel like we played similar games. Like in your opening speech, you mentioned like once Bill was that you were playing individually. I feel like I played individually this entire game. I didn't really have anyone that I was like, you're my number one or anything like that. So in terms of that, I feel like we played the exact same game. The only difference was I never got involved in conflict, whereas you got involved in a lot of conflict. So I do have two questions. First one was, with you targeting Kamani, was that like a part of your game, or was that literally your hate for him, or like your dislike for him?
So like I said in Kamani's question, when I first took his prisms in round 2, it wasn't a malicious let's get Kamani out of here thing. From the get-go with Kamani, I didn't actually want him out, especially once I saw his beef with Dylan. A lot of my confessionals will reflect that Kamani was kind of a key player to my game because he had beef with so many people, and it was beef that was stronger than mine. So his beef with Regan and his beef with Dylan was stronger than what it was with me. So he was a person that I would present the facade of really hating him and really wanting him out. But when in reality, Kamani being here was not bad for me because he would always target people before he targeted me. As far as like a hatred thing, I will never let my personal biases control how I play these games. But when it comes down to me and a person hate each other and I know they're going to target me, I feel like I'm forced to target them because I'm not just going to let someone sit by and come after me, regardless of my personal feelings. And as far as, I know you didn't ask a question, you might, but as far as getting into conflict, I'm the type of player in these games who, if I'm focused and invested on a game, I can never be an under the radar player. I'm never going to not say what I'm feeling, and I'm never going to not be at the forefront just because that's the personality that I have. And I know that a lot of times it works to my detriment, but I think in this game a lot, like with being in conflict, that puts you in a point where it's like you kind of become my Kamani. You know that people are going to target me before they target you. And so that was kind of like, if I know that people are going to want me out, other people are going to save me in the chambers, which is kind of what kept happening with Kamani. So I know I answered a question that wasn't asked, but...
No, that's all good. My second question for you was, where did I fit in your game?
I'm not gonna lie to you, Riley. For the first round and before the Bill blindside, I really truly did want to work with you. But after that, it was fuck Riley, and I couldn't have cared less whether you lived or died in this game. You were somebody that I genuinely do like on a personal level, and I feel like you're a really charming person. I mean, you're wearing like the most teacher's assistant outfit right now, and you're like
my work uniform.
It's like you have a very charming way about you, which, like I said, in this game, that like makes you super powerful. But after that, I kind of realized I couldn't trust you regardless of what you said to me, and a lot of our text conversations were just really dry with you just saying ha 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 to me a lot, and so it kind of became an issue of like, I'm not a part of Riley's game, so why should he be a part of mine? You definitely were crucial in the round where I was in the chamber with Max and Eric, because if it wasn't for your deep Eric hatred, I could have gone home there. But I can't pretend like you were a key strategic part of my game because we were just kind of on opposite ends of the universe.
Okay. Well, that's really it. I don't really have much else to ask. I'm still not sure who I'm going to vote for, so I'm going to think about it. But good luck to you. And yeah, I guess we'll see who the winner is. Bye.
All right, thank you, Riley. All right, Regan, it is your turn. You now have 10 minutes. Go ahead and use it.
So I can just ask whatever I want. I just want to say congrats to both of you. I'm not bitter against either of you, mostly because Max, I didn't have an alliance with you and Blake. Like, you were kind of, I don't think you purposely overloaded that, not to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure that was all Alex was doing, so I have no bitterness. I can't really be bitter. So first things first, Max, can you just go over your social game a bit? I think the jury's all pretty confused on why you talked as little as you did. Like, I know you talked to the people you had, but it kind of seemed like you didn't really care for the others.
I feel like there are a few key people that I had relationships which carried me through, and then there are a bunch of people, like admittedly, like I'm not bullshit, just have to be honest, that I didn't have that fluid of conversations with. There were people like you, people like Riley, people like Dylan, right? And that for me was a tactical, not a tactical decision, but just a thing with how my life's going. I don't know if a lot of people know, but for the last week and a bit, I've been helping my girlfriend move into a new town, and I've been going there, so I don't have lots of time to talk to people. So I decided, instead of talking to people that were not very crucial to my game, instead I talked to the people that I knew that if I continued to have that relationship, that would power me through. Obviously, that's biting my butt a bit here, but I had a reason why I did it, and I tried to use the limited resources I had in the best way possible.
Blake, can you just go over your strategy game a bit? Like, I guess I didn't, like, I definitely did see who you definitely worked with me, but, like, I want to see who else, like, you worked with, and, like, if you can explain that.
Yeah, so at the beginning, I had an alliance with Bill, Dawn, and Eric. Like I said in my opening speech, those were people I felt like would implode on themselves and would give me more longevity, because Bill was literally a Tasmanian devil whirling around trying to figure out what was happening in the game. Bill would write down things in a notebook every time we went on call, so with a person like Bill and a person like Eric, I knew that I could use them to get myself farther. After the first live night, I made a good connection with Alex. Alex was a person that I knew coming into this, and someone who I couldn't get on the same page as for the first 2 rounds, but once we got on the same page, we did some serious damage. As far as you, I didn't expect to work with you, and a lot of times at the very beginning, it was really just that saving you was more convenient than saving the others, but as time passed, it ended up being a better alliance than I could have expected it to be. I always would have Dawn's back, regardless of whether we were on the same page completely. And then in that second live night, you saw firsthand that I worked really closely with you and Alex together. I kind of pushed y'all's games together so we could make things happen that were beneficial for us. So I feel like you two, Dawn, and then like Bill and Eric to an extent, but I kind of faded away with Eric, were like my most key allies. I was in a chat with Bill, Eric, and Kayla, but it never really did much. And then Dylan, I said previously, was important to me round 1. So, like, there were a lot of different people that I worked with. I tried to get something going with Max. I feel like I tried to get something going with almost everybody in this game, but slowly but surely I realized that you don't need that many people. You just need yourself and a few votes to save. So I didn't really try to prioritize making a million alliances. I tried to prioritize super, super good connections with people like you and Alex, who knew I would save them regardless, and I knew they would save me. And then I try to have looser connections with other people that I didn't need to prioritize as heavily.
Okay, I just want to ask both of you, actually. Do either of you have, like, definitely someone, like, whose sole elimination, like, was your kind of fault, or your planning, or your doing? Like,
I think that a lot of the Ivy thing was... Okay, so it's hard to say in a game like this that anything was your doing, because there's so many save votes and there's so much micromanaging to do, but the Ivy thing was a thing that benefited me the most, and I stand by that to this day. Ivy rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but the main person she was putting on blast and saying, Blake wants to work with me, Blake will do this for me, this, and this. The second that I saw Ivy was kind of throwing me under the bus and dragging my name through the mud, not directly or not on purpose, I knew Ivy needed to go. So I kind of recruited Dylan, I recruited Bill and Eric, I got all these people on board, and we kind of coordinated the votes to save. And then I do still stand by the fact that the reason it went to the wheel at Final 6 was because you were more loyal to me than anybody else. So maybe it wasn't directly that I took Riley out, but I directly sent it to the wheel, which sent Riley home. So.
And I think the vote, one of the obvious ones was me taking out Don, which is either with my sole vote and with my strategy to put myself as the person with the spot who can take out that vote. But also I feel like one that, though not 100% solely, because as Blake said, there's lots of people who helped decide, but I feel like the vote of Bill was something that I, along with Alex, orchestrated that changed the game massively. So I feel like I was heavily responsible for that, and that was a very important point in my game that I curated.
Okay, thank you both. Shoot, I had another question. Just give me like 2 seconds. Give me like 10 seconds. What's it called? I know it's gonna sound conceited. Blake, why did you work with me?
At the beginning it was convenient, and I just wanted to get what I wanted at the beginning. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Chamber Round 1 was you, Ivy, and Cody, right? So a lot of the reason that I worked with you was circumstantial, and I knew that I could pitch to you that I saved you when I really just needed Ivy out. But then as time passed, you kind of like voted for me to stay, and then I voted for you. And in a way, I realized that your game has developed, and this isn't even me kissing ass, because I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. You know that. But I feel like you became a better player, and you played a lot better in this game than anyone gave you credit for. And I knew that you were always going to be loyal to the people you were loyal to. And a lot of times I knew that if I just got to you last minute, you would be more willing to not flip on me. So it was a circumstantial alliance that ended up being really, really good. But yeah, that's mostly why.
Yeah, I guess because I just wanted to ask, because everyone was like, oh, you guys had the connection before, like, Alex took me out because of that. I'm like, well, we kind of like don't talk. You kind of make fun of me all the time. So it was like one of those things. I just want to say congrats to you both. I don't think I have any other questions. But thank you both. Good luck to both of you.
You are both fucking. You are both fucking. Okay.
For 10 minutes.
Okay. First of all, you're both fucking, and I should have hands down won this game, but that's besides the point because I lost. I have a few strategic questions, but these strategic questions were all based on notes that I took throughout the entire jury questioning. I had absolutely nothing preset for this because I just got eliminated, and I know both your games very well, and I know what I did, and I know what you did, and I know I did a whole lot because, yeah. I don't want to toot my own horn because this is about you. I'll have my moment in the episodes. So, Max, the majority of the strategic questions are going to go to you. And that is because there are a few statements where I feel like you may or may not have either taken credit where there should be more credit than other people. With that being said, question number 1. Do you think that the bill vote would have even fell through in any way, shape, or form if it wasn't for me coming up with a lie of the Kamani, Riley, and who else was it? Kayla, Dylan, Riley alliance. If it wasn't for me coming up with a lie, telling Riley about it, saying it was Bill and getting Bill to push him down.
I thought that was like, sorry, I should have acknowledged that lie because that was an important part of structuring that. And when I mentioned that bill vote was an important part of my game, I did mention just recently when Regan spoke that you and I were people who worked closely for that vote to curate that. And I think that lie was an important part of how that went ahead and got Bill home.
All right, so that wasn't solely your thing, and that was Rio's question. Number 1. Okay, number 2. Do you think that you would have been responsible for the International Dream Alliance if Dawn didn't try to come to me? And I mean, you and I already had the connection, obviously, because you went in and we did a lot of shit together, so we had this returning alliance. But if Dawn didn't approach all of us separately to form this alliance, due to the fact that you supposedly had a really quote-unquote social game with Riley, do you think that this alliance would have ever happened?
The alliance was constructed by Don, 100%. Don was the curator of that alliance and something that he created. But I put myself in a position in the game where Don would put me in that spot, where would put me in that alliance. I had a conversation with him early in the game, which I think Don can let me know if he thinks differently, but I think that really cemented the relationship that Don and I had, and Don and I had a relationship that put me in that spot. Don created the alliance, but the relationship I had put me in the alliance.
Okay, and finally, you give yourself a lot of the credit for the pardon that you had to use. However, there were 2 other people in this game that had a pardon. There were 2 other people that had to use a pardon on themselves. So why is your pardon so special?
Okay, well, firstly, I feel like Regan's pardon, sorry Regan, shouldn't be praised because of how she earned it. She earned it by being the person who was the most vulnerable, which isn't something that really should be rewarded, right? Then I feel like, Alex, your pardon was something that was well earned by detective work and finding things at the right time, which was good. But my pardon was the sole pardon that was earned through having yourself in a really strong spot in the game, because I earned my pardon through having the lowest prison ratio. So though all pardons affected the game equally, my pardon was the most valuably earned, if that makes sense.
Okay, and I do have a last final question. Okay, you have relied a lot on saying that you planned this and you constructed this whole plan about why I should make it to the final 3, knowing that I will lose the challenge. But just as much as I wasn't able to predict blackjack being one of the challenges, how did you know, and how could you read Nate's mind so well that you would know that he would do not one but both physical challenges that he used in the challenge, even though he had such a broad spectrum of challenges he could have chose from?
In this game, there were 7 challenges, right? You and I have both played this game before, and we've seen the final chambers and how they've been constructed.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
There were 8 challenges, one of them which you didn't know about because you were at a winery store during the live night. Carry on.
Okay, there were 8. Okay. Oops, my bad. Okay. There were 8. And the 2 of the 8 were physical, but also I feel like Nate, I made the judgment that I felt that Nate would put at least 1, probably 2, because they're like the big key like time breakers. Like it's like you can either do them really quickly or you can do them less quickly. While challenges like the blackjack or the rotating puzzle, really people would do them at like similar paces, if that makes sense. Like maybe 2 minutes faster or 2 minutes slower. Also, the touchy subject was something that couldn't really be done in the final format.
Okay. I expected the rotating puzzle, and I was pretty pissed off because I feel like that is actually one of the challenges that could have been a tiebreaker because some people just really suck at them. And I beat everyone's ass royally in that challenge, and people were scrambling to finish it. Anyways, okay, those were my strategic questions for you. I have one strategic question for Blake, and I initially came into having none. But there's this one question, and that's the fact that at Final 5, you keep saying that my flaw was that I voted to keep Max, when I remember we had this call where 2 minutes after you cast your vote, I told you I also saved vegan, and we laughed our asses off, and we talked about everything, and you admitted to me that if you had the chance to cut me at 4th, you would have done it. So tell me why, despite the fact that I did this as a defensive move, knowing that you would have cut me, knowing that Regan was close to you and could have literally done your dirty work, is a move that was bad for me when I knew that it literally, like, it got me to Final 3 and I lost the challenge, so I'll take it. I was never voted out. But I want to know why you still think that it was bad.
Because I think that relying on the fact that Max might take out Dawn at Final 4 over you is a short-sighted move, and I think that assuming that Max is going to do something when Max wasn't exactly the most predictable person in the game was crazy to me. Yes, I did admit that I was going to take you out at Final 4 because my ideal Final 3 was Regan and Dawn. I think I put that in my confessional at like Final 9, so I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that it would have been so much superbly better to take out Max. At the same time, though, I do think you might have been in a pretty impossible situation at that point. I just think that it's so hard to go into the Final 4 assuming that Max is going to save you when we couldn't even successfully get him into the chamber. I think that Max should have viewed you as his biggest competition at Final 4, and I think that he probably should have taken you out. So I think that it's a big risk for you to take to keep him in at Final 4 and just hope and pray that he's going to keep you at Final 4. Yeah.
In my defense, if Nate had given us a time warning and we were able to submit our forms, then Max would have been sitting in 4th. But that isn't Max's fault. And I was going to ask a question about that, but I figured what's gone is gone. luck is sometimes a factor in this game, and that was the one lucky moment. I mean, I won the Lucky Lady Award for whichever reason. So, yeah. Now, on to the fun part, or not necessarily the fun part. So, I'm really excited to see these episodes because I realized that I did a lot of in this game, and I lied to basically everyone at one point in the game except for Dawn. And I literally did so much where I just feel like I would probably I'm such a shady bitch for this. And there's a few things where I look back where I'm like, I wish this wouldn't be shown, but it probably will be. And there's all of these fun stuff about the things that the general public is going to see. So my question to the both of you is, if you reflect on your entire game over these past few weeks, what is one or two of the moments that you're going to regret watching back on the episodes?
Do I go
Whoever
first?
can go first can go first. You can choose.
Okay. I think that I'm gonna regret how much I talked in confessionals, because a lot of times in these orgs, you post your confessionals and then the viewers view them, and then people can watch them post-season or they can't. So a lot of times I'm prone to talking confessionals because it feels like the most candid place, and people don't usually go view them after the season. I know I personally don't. So a lot of times I say things in the heat of the moment in my confessionals because I don't expect them to get out there. But with episodes, I feel like a lot of people are going to get their feelings hurt. I'm pretty sure that I was consistently grumpy throughout this entire season, so I regret a lot of that. As far as lying or strategic stuff, I don't really feel like I did a whole lot of lying that wasn't for a good reason that I'm going to regret. I am going to regret, I know it's not a secret, but I do kind of regret just the way the altercations with Kamani went down. Like I told him before, I'm not going to apologize because we both went below the belt, but I just don't like the way that's going to look. It just kind of looks stupid.
My two regrets from the game, my two main regrets. One, and not to butter up Blake, but I feel like after I blindsided Bill, I should have got back on the horse that I was riding where I was trying to work with Blake and tried to form a better relationship with him at that point. And my other regret, which is kind of apparent from the conversations we've had tonight, is that I should have had better relationships with some of the people in the jury. And I feel like having better relationships would have helped me in the game, but also obviously helping me here.
Okay. I do actually have one last question that is strategic for both of you, and I feel like I need to toot my own horn a little bit. I think I did so well this season, and I'm so proud of how I did, and it's a shame that I wasn't able to be able in the final two to plead it, no matter if I would have won the jury vote or if I lost the jury vote. But imagine round two, I didn't find a pardon and I was voted out, because that's a likely situation. Do you think that the two of you would sit in the final two if it wasn't for me being in the game and controlling a good part of it that protected you?
I'll go first. I strongly believe that, like Alex, this isn't me buttering you up. You were my best alliance by far. You were, and multiple times, the person who helped me with moves that I made and helped me stay along in the game. And I feel strongly that I probably would have got out pre-jury if you were out round two. Your relationship was key to me driving through in this game. But I feel, and that's how I feel.
All right, so I'm not going to say that you didn't help me a lot in this game, because I feel like a good 45% to 50% of my final tribal council or final finale speech has been talking about the relationship I had with you. So it would be impossible for me to say that you didn't help me with the circumstances that went down in this game. If you had been taken out in round two, that would have meant Bill wouldn't have gone, and I could have gone through with my plan to take Bill out when I originally intended to. And I think that I would have honestly probably had I'm not going to say I would have necessarily made the end, but I feel like my road got really bumpy when you used the pardon, because you were kind of universally a target round two, and you staying out of that chamber, I think, was your saving grace, and new drama and stuff developed. So my alliance with you and Regan were like my two most powerful allies. Like, you guys gave me information and saved me at some critical points, but it's impossible for me to say whether or not I would have gotten to final two without you, because it would have been a totally different game if you had gone home in round two, because it would have just been such different circumstances with Bill still being here and all that kind of so I have no idea what could have happened if you had gone home round two. It would have been weird. I think that I would have made jury, but I don't think I would have made final two.
All right, thank you for not making me look like a complete narcissistic piece of shit that only toots his own horn for the enjoyment. I think based on all the answers I received, I have made my mind up on who I'm going to vote for. I think regardless, both of you played really strong games. I think this is going to be a close one because for a good reason, I have a feeling that it's going to come down to this jury vote, but I don't know exactly. So congratulations to the two of you. Again, I really envy your spot because I would have loved to sit in there. And I feel like a few people would have yelled at me tonight, but it would have been fun. It was a really fun game, so thank you so much for being a part of it. And congratulations to whoever earned my vote, and congratulations to whoever earns the jury's majority vote, because my vote is not everyone's. I can't control this one as a difference. So yeah, thank you very much. Best of luck. Thank you, Nate, for having me, and to everyone, have a good night. Mwah.
Thanks, Alex.
All right. Thank you, Alex. And with that, jury questioning is done. You both now will have 10 minutes each to do your closing statements. Stated previously, Blake, you're first. Max, you get last word.
Okay, so I'm not going to take all 10 minutes because I feel like we've just beaten our games to death throughout this entire Final Tribal Council. Sorry, I keep calling it that. I think we've beaten our games to death throughout this entire finale. I think that I've said just about every possible thing that I could have. I just want to say, please go into this vote with an open mind. I know that me and Max might not have handled the social game the best, and I know that a lot of times I was very confrontational. Regardless, it's hard for me to tone that back because that's just the type of person I am. I will stand by the fact that I might be beating a dead horse here, but I do think that I played an incredibly adaptable game. I think that I played the best overall game for this format in a game where things can go wrong so easily, in a game where you can plan out every possible circumstance and still get put into the chamber, still get eliminated. I was able to overcome the roller coaster that was this game, and I think that the connections that I made that got me to where I am should be more powerful than the connections that I didn't make. I respect whatever you guys choose to do. This was truly and honestly one of the most fun games I've ever played, especially once the duds got eliminated and it became a really competitive thing. This game challenges you in weird ways, and so whatever happens, I'm just happy to have made the end. As much as we tried to kill each other, I respect the out of Max's game, and I would love to get y'all's jury votes. But if Max wins, he's going to be a deserving winner. And all in all, I think this is going to be a really good season. Thanks for your questions, and thanks for not tearing me to pieces.
Okay, so I don't think I'll take up all 10 minutes either. But firstly, I just wanted to say thanks everyone for a great game and for great and actually truly memorable jury speeches. Now, I'll just quickly reiterate some things and highlight some things that were mentioned throughout the game. I feel like I definitely had a weakness with some of the social connections and through that, but I feel like one thing that hasn't been highlighted through this game is the way the actual mechanics of the system affected the game. The system, in its heart, is a game of managing things, managing people, managing prisms, managing popularity, managing them round by round, managing them total. And I feel like in that element of the game, I did an excellent job without tooting my own horn. But I feel like my control of prism ratio is something that should be applauded, as I feel like having a strong prism ratio and maintaining my prisms throughout the game was something that I did really effectively. And I also did a good job limiting the rounds that I ended up in the chamber, trying to make sure that I was in danger as minimal times as possible. I also managed votes kind of, as Blake was saying, you kind of only need a few blocks to be behind your back, and I definitely had blocks that protected me. Sometimes they were single players in the form of Alex protecting me at the final 5, or there were larger groups protecting me during the live night that I couldn't attend. Things like that, I feel, was how I managed a game that I think is strong, and I hope that you guys think that game is strong enough for your jury votes. All in all, I wish best of luck to Blake, and I think he was a great opponent, and I would be happy if he won, as well as I'd be happy if I won. And I thank everyone for a great season, and see you next time.
All right, thank you, Max, and thank you, Blake, as well. With that, both your jobs are over. The game is over. Congrats. Now it is time for the jury to vote. So at this time, jury members, please send in your votes for who you want to win. We're going to deciding the winner.
Good luck,
We're
Blake.
going to go through the prism ratio. So Max had a prism ratio of 41%. There's a difference of 3%. Blake, your prism ratio was 44%, meaning Max, you won the prism ratio section. Next, we move to overall popularity. Blake, you had an overall popularity of 19. Max, your overall popularity was 14. That means, Blake, you have won the overall popularity section of the system. That means, as you guys predicted, it comes down to the jury vote. So I'm going to read them out one at a time. Don voted for Blake. That means it's 1 vote Blake, 0 votes Max. Kamani voted for Max. That means we're tied 1-1. Next vote is Alex. Alex voted for Blake. Blake leads 2-1. Eric voted for Blake. Blake leads 3-1. Next vote is Dylan. Dylan's vote was... Congratulations, Blake. You are the winner of the System Washington.
Holy
Congratulations.
Congrats, Blake.
Can I just give a really dramatic speech for a moment?
Go right ahead.
Okay, Nate, I know you don't like when we talk about other games, but I feel like I've been playing these stupid online games for going on 3 years now, and I've just been thirsting for a win. And so this literally is... This feels better than the first time I ejaculated. Max, I'm not gonna lie to you. You killed it. I am not gonna sit here and be a and say that you didn't deserve it, because you definitely did. And I just had to slander you and the jury. Great game. Nate, oh my god. I don't even know what to say. I never thought that I would be speechless over an online reality game win, but I truly, truly am. Thanks to the people who voted for me for... Holy I don't even know what to say. This. Thank you, guys.
Blake, you killed it. You're a deserving winner.
Thank you.
Good
so
job.
much. Jesus Christ.
Boop, 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 boop.